Welcome to Alan's Italy. This show number 145, is going to focus on an afternoon on the Piazza Navona. You know, I often say to people that when they're going on a trip anywhere, really, we went to Rome and to Orvieto and to Florence and Civita di Bonareggio, but wherever you go, it's always a good idea to stop and kind of relax and look at the atmosphere. And there's no better place to do that in Rome, in my opinion, than the Piazza Navona. And it is simply that in the morning we took the family to the Roman Forum and to the Colosseum, and we, reached about 1 in the afternoon, and we became a little tired. And we decided that we would let them continue sightseeing in the ancient Rome area, and we would come back to the piazza and just sit and have a drink. So that's what we did that afternoon. And, the Piazza Navona is my favorite piazza in Rome. And I'd like to first tell you, and so this is what's going to happen. I'm going to talk a little bit about the piazza and show some pictures of what it looked like in ancient times and now. We'll go into that whole thing in a minute. And then I have 3 videos. One is going to show you the piazza, what it looked like during the day. Then I have an interview with one of the street performers, and then I'm going to show you what the Piazza Navona looks like in the evening. And and then I'll wrap things up afterwards. So this is what I would like to talk about. So the photo you're looking at now is what the piazza looked like, let's say 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago, it was the Stadium of Domitian, built in the 1st century AD. And the stadium actually follows I should say that the piazza follows the outline of what the stadium looked like 2,000 years ago. So that's very, very interesting. And there is currently a museum where you could go into the museum down, way down, because, the ground level is much higher than the ground level of the stadium was 2,000 years ago. So if you want to see what it looked like, you have to go down and you get a view of some of the things from, it's not like you go down and you see this magnificent, stadium. It's a little more, you see some of the artifacts as you're looking at right now. So anyway, the Romans went there in ancient times to watch games, which were called agones, Agones, as you could see. And that was the name that they gave for what was called a circus, where they had, races going around. And the original name, you can see right there, is the Circus Agonalis, which was, considered a competition arena. And then, as you're now looking at the slide, you can see Agonalis became Avone, became Navona. So, the word kind of goes through this metamorphosis until it becomes Navona, and it has the name, the Piazza Navona. During the reign of Pope Innocent X, which was in the 17th century, the family palace faces is right on the piazza, and is called the Palazzo Pamphili. There is a tremendous Baroque influence, as evidenced by the 3 fountains, the most famous being the one in the center, and that's the Fountain of the 4 Rivers, that was designed by Bernini in 1651 and is topped by an obelisk from the time of Domitian. The one on the south portion of the piazza is called the Fontana del Moro, and that was designed by Rinaldi in 1575. And Bernini then added a statue of a Moor. So, that's Fontana del Moro translates into the Fountain of the Moor. And then on the north side is the Fountain of Neptune della Porta. Neptune being the god of the seas of water, and that was designed in 1574. Okay, so here we are sipping um, um, Vino Nobili di Montepulciano on the Piazza Navona uh, over the course of the afternoon. And I will now stop and show you the three videos and then come back to wrap up the show at the end. So let's put the Piazza Navona on the map. There it is in the black oval. Right next to it is the Pantheon, which is a very short stroll from the piazza. Over there to the right, as you can see, it's right near the river. The river, again, is a 5-minute walk. There's the Castel Sant'Angelo. Coming into view on the extreme left and on the top is the Vatican, a very short walk from there. The Colosseum is off to the right and down. The Roman Forum is there, very centrally located in the heart of Rome. So this is the Piazza Navona on a Sunday afternoon. We are sitting in a cafe sipping wine, and you can see that this is a very, very popular piazza in Rome. And, couples walking and families and a typical Sunday afternoon, very busy. There are, guys, as you can see right there, hawking his wares. There are cafes and restaurants all along the periphery of the piazza, and you can get a glass of wine or any kind of liquor, and you can also get food. They have every kind of food you could possibly imagine, including pizza and pastas and so on. So, we're now looking at the north part of the piazza where the archaeological museum is located on the opposite side of where we're sitting. That's the northern entrance, and now we're spanning towards the south. There's one of the entrances at the midpoint of the piazza, and we'll be coming up very shortly on the Fountain of the Four Rivers. There it is straight ahead with the obelisk on top. And in the middle there are street vendors, and there are performers and artists painting people's pictures and painting pictures of Rome. And people are bundled up pretty well because it's probably right now. I would think that day was, if I remember correctly, Fahrenheit. It was in the low to mid 50s and overcast, so it was pretty chilly. And people do live on the piazza, as you can see. There are small apartment buildings, churches, and that's I'm spanning now again going north. I just came from the south, and now I'm going north, and now I'm just looking straight ahead at the midpoint there. And in a few moments, I am going to get up from my seat and walk over to the middle where there was a street performer. And I'll show you that in a few moments. You could very faintly see him right there. I don't know if you could see him. He's kind of standing on a pedestal, which we'll get a closer look at later. So now looking towards the south, and the the Piazza Navona. So we're on the Piazza Navona, and this is a gentleman I've been watching for the past half hour while I have been sitting at this cafe over here drinking wine. So, do you mind telling me your name?
Robin,
Robin.
yeah,
And where are you from?
India,
You're from India.
yeah.
And you've been doing this thing here, and how long have you been doing it?
Every day 7 hours,
7 hours a day.
yeah.
For how long?
Um, Morning to evening,
Morning to evening.
yeah.
But I mean, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
No,
Like,
I come from job for here.
oh, you have a job,
Now I found a job and so I do that.
so you go to your job, and then to
Yeah.
make more money.
Yeah.
Like on weekends, you do it on Saturday and Sunday, or
Yeah, only
Sunday?
Saturday, Sunday.
Right. So you do it on the weekend to make extra money.
Yeah.
And I see people come up to you and they stand next to you, and you're very theatrical. Like you have a real interesting way.
Yeah, because Italian people and many children, like child is also like me.
Right.
Is they always take that this is a statue. I take a picture with him.
Yes, I
He
know.
have a gun. I like this gun and this.
Right.
I also
Exactly.
interest my work.
Right. I've been watching you, and you're very good and very interesting,
These
and people love you.
Yeah,
People
I know
love
people
you,
love
and it's
me.
very nice,
This I
Robin.
know.
So that's really great. So
I do, yeah, I don't know, but I always say that when I get my position, people always like me, understand and look what I do.
yes.
This very interesting, and I also like this.
What kind of work do you do? You know, in your regular job.
Now this moment time I found a job, but sometime I do that. Sometime how can like that Friday, Saturday, Sundays weekend many people.
Right.
This many child.
Okay.
This
So
is interesting.
you want to just strike a pose for me now and show
Yeah.
us what you do?
Okay.
Okay. So Robin's going to get on his box now, and you'll see that he's quite amazing what he does. And he stays like that basically for an indefinite period of time, and people love to watch him. You can see that people like to watch him, so they stop, and they're fascinated by him, of course, because he's pretty amazing, this guy. And you can see that he's on the Piazza Navona. He's one of the acts. There are like people doing all kinds of things on the Piazza Navona, and Robin is one of them. Look at him just standing there, and everybody who passes looks at him. I'm going back now. I hope I don't slam into anybody. And there he is doing his thing for, and he just stays like that until somebody comes over and he poses with them, and he gets money. He makes some money on his spare time. And that's Robin, and I'm now going to go over to him and shake his hand. Thank you, Robin. I'd like to thank you very much for your time and your effort.
No problem.
And I'm
Thank
going
you.
to stop it now. So that was my interview with Robin, and obviously I wasn't getting answers to many of the questions that I wanted because he was having a very hard time understanding the questions. So that was very disappointing to me. But nonetheless, we got an idea as to why somebody would do one of these things, and he has a job and he does this on weekends to make more money. So you have to admire him for that, and doing it for 7 hours is quite a thing. So, so even though I was a bit disappointed, it was still really nice to have this opportunity, and it was great. So I hope you enjoyed that. So here we are on the Piazza Navona in the early evening. It's probably right now about 5 p.m. and the restaurants are eager, really, to get the people out of the outdoor tables, having their aperitifs and so on, so that they could get the evening crowd in for dinner. You see that flame over there? That's what restaurants are and the cafes are using to heat the outdoors. It's a little chilly there in the evening. It's getting chillier as the evening wears on. So you sit close to one of those things, you don't even feel the chill in the air. Our place was called the Cafe Barocco Ristorante. It's they're going to be serving meals there, and of course, wine and pizza. And sitting at one of those tables in the evening is, very, very enjoyable experience, as it was during the afternoon. There's something really magical about sitting in the piazza in the evening time, so um, that's really very nice. See how pretty it is with the railings and the apartments above it. There's, one of the entrances at the midpoint looking to the south. There's the Fountain of the Four Rivers in the middle. And there are quite a few people. In fact, I would say there's probably more people in the evening than there are during the in the afternoon. There are, that's a view towards the north. Robin is now gone. He did his 7 hours, and now he's gone home to get ready to go to work tomorrow, obviously. Again, looking towards the south, and it's very well lit, with the cafes and the restaurants. And there's that fellow still trying to sell his wares. Lots of people coming into the piazza in the evening. This is what people do in in Rome Sunday in the evening, and back towards the looking towards the north with all of the cafes and restaurants. And this is the Piazza Navona, a really wonderful place to spend a day or an evening in a really great place in Rome. And that brings us to the end. I hope you enjoyed that look at the Piazza Navona. It's a wonderful place to spend an afternoon or an evening. They have wonderful restaurants, and it's just a wonderful place. It's very exciting, very interesting, and I hope you get there. So thank you for watching Alan's Italy, and we hope to see you soon. Until then, buonanotte e buona fortuna.